Bill, thanks for coming down.
My pleasure.
Good to meet you. Let me ask you a really simple question to begin with. What is the main thing that impacts food cost?
Typically, it is in the garbage. Your food cost is in the garbage.
In the garbage, not the actual ingredients.
Well, to an extent, yes. There's obviously a cost for what's on your plate, but there's a lot of hidden cost that often is not accounted for. You have to factor in a lot of things, including how much you're throwing away, how much you're not using, how much you're trimming off and not getting your value for it.
Right, so you save $4 a pound, but for what?
Right, exactly. If you look at simply the cost of your fillet per pound that you brought in, or the cost of your whole fish you brought in, obviously there's your yield loss, right? Just normal head, tail, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Then there's labor to do that, but there's also the stuff that is typically trimmed off, you know, the belly parts or the tail or whatever, and somebody will use that for a chowder or a salmon cake, but you're not really getting your full return on that.
So as an operator, how do I reduce my cost on the plate?
Well, several different ways. First of all, you really have to know when you include all these wasted costs and what you've tossed in the garbage and how much you spent for labor. You've got to know exactly how much that piece of fish cost you, right? That's at the beginning. At the end, you have to be sure you're not tossing out something that was good and cost you such and such amount, but you're not using it in time and you toss that in the garbage too.
What about this fresh versus frozen argument?
In this particular case, when you're talking about money savings, economics, and that stuff, where everybody counts, it's less about fresh versus frozen, because I mean, really, every restaurant is different. If you use enough seafood, this is a tough time of year, but let's say in the summertime you're using enough where you've never thrown away a piece of fresh fish that expired or got too old because you're using it so fast, well, that's great. But if you're not, then maybe you need to really look at bringing in an IQF portion, which really gives you arguably as good a quality because of the new freezing practices and stuff that they have now, which really has brought up the quality. You can cook it from frozen, and oftentimes, in a lot of cases, you don't have to thaw out as many pieces and try to anticipate your business, or in a couple of days, okay, I've thrown away more. And again, it all goes back to what's in the garbage.
So, you know, I can buy a value-added or pre-portioned seafood that will deliver the same cost and the same quality as products that were whole or the whole sides.
Mm-hmm. In terms of cost, you know, maybe it'll be the same. Maybe it'll be a little bit less in the case of shrimp. I guarantee you that if you bring in a block of shrimp and I bring in a peeled and deveined shrimp and match up the sizes, I am going to save you money per shrimp. And it is per shrimp. It's not per pound. You can't look at it that way. Everybody has to sort of reevaluate the way they look at things now, because if, you know, Chef Jacques taught you something 100 years ago on a way to do it, the way to cost it, it's just not that way anymore. Labor is twice as much. It's just all kinds of factors involved.
So to sum it up, you're saying to invest in quality ingredients to control your food costs on the plate.
Mm-hmm.
And with IQF seafood products, you eliminate the labor costs in seafood prep. You eliminate most, if not all, the product that's put down the drain after it's not usable. And you absolutely know what each portion costs you.
Right, and that's the key. Whether it's a portion of fish or whether it's a shrimp or whatever it is, you have to know exactly what that costs. So you have to take all these factors into consideration, right? Mm-hmm. You also have to look at, well, am I better off? And it's not necessarily fresh versus IQF. It might be you want to bring in fresh portions, because whether you're bringing a fresh side or a frozen side and thawed out, you're still in the same situation, tossing the tail out and all that stuff. So the absolute key is invest in quality, because you haven't gotten much of a good deal if you throw half of it away because it doesn't last you. Examine what you are doing and be open-minded. Do I want portions? Do I want peeled shrimp? Will it save me money? Include the labor, include the waste. You just have to. They are real costs. And then make a decision that fits your restaurant. And then, you know, there are factors like balancing your menu and bringing in products that can be used for more than one dish and all that stuff. You know, a lot of different factors. But the main one to stay alive is make sure you know what it costs you to put that fish on the plate.
That's right. Can a restaurant consult you?
Sure, absolutely. A lot of what I do with FSA is go out and talk about issues like this, and it's a huge issue now. Yeah. Everybody's trying to figure out ways to survive, you know, economically right now. And all of our salespeople are really well versed on all these things. I'm happy to go out anywhere if you call and help you through it.
Excellent. Bill, thanks for coming down.
My pleasure.